Tuf H3. Let's get weird. Now on the surface, there's honestly not much to brag about here. 50mm drivers, non-removable auxiliary cord, non-removable mic, mostly plastic build with these little metal forks to hold the ear cups on, vegan leather ear pads, and headband, but it only cost 40 bucks. Now ASUS is a very weird company. They make some incredible products. Mice, keyboards, motherboards, even routers. They have their hand in like every single pot. But then we have the Tuf H3. Now though the features on this thing are pretty lackluster, I'm not gonna lie, the sound on this thing is pretty damn good. What I wanna do is I wanna compare this to one of the most popular gaming headsets on the market ever, the HyperX Cloud 2s. Oh, and I should add that I did pay for this out of my own pocket, so that will heavily influence my thoughts. So the Tuf H3 has very clearly mimicked the design of the Cloud 2s, and for good reason. It's an extremely safe design, but also very comfortable. Plus, it definitely looks a lot better than most gaming headsets on the market, because most of them are pretty clunky and gross. Sorry if you like those. Now, not only does it use metal forks to attach the ear cuffs on, the H3's actually opted to have this design offset a bit, which gives you a ton more flexibility in how you actually wear them. Now, I've actually never had any true complaints with the Cloud 2s and just overall comfort, but sometimes, you know, you do have to pull them off and readjust them, and you're just limited. Or when you pull them off to readjust them, you just put them back on in the exact same position like they were. So overall, with the cushy ear pads that the H3s come with as well, they definitely take the dub right here. However, it should be noted that the Cloud 2s do come with cloth ear pads as well. Now, as far as build quality goes, it's gonna be hard to pick a winner here just because you have to remember that the H3s are only $40, so a lot of sacrifices had to be made. And a lot of the sacrifices come in the form of a mostly plastic build. Now, I will say though they're mostly plastic, they are still incredibly sturdy. However, if I had to pick a winner here, it would definitely go to the Cloud 2s just because they are much more solid and they have a lot more metal on them. And so I feel like these are gonna stand the test of time a little bit better than these will. Now, both have a non-removable auxiliary cable. However, the Cloud 2s do have a removable mic. It's not the end of the world. It's not a deal breaker, but it's always a welcomed feature if it's on. Then for connections, the Tuf H3 only uses auxiliary, but it does come with a splitter, whereas the Cloud 2s can be used auxiliary or they have an included USB adapter. But thankfully, the splitter cable that comes with the Tuf H3 is very long and soft. Now, one weird design choice I have to point out though with the Tuf H3s is that for some reason, the cable that they opted for the splitter is much better than the cable actually connected to the headset. It's a very weird design choice, but whatever. Now, the key feature for the Cloud H2s is that sound card allows them to have digital surround sound, which I know some people like. For me, for the most part, I use it one time and I never touch it again. It just ends up being a completely useless feature for me. Now, sound is actually where these two differ tremendously. Now, first, we're gonna completely disregard the digital surround that comes with the Cloud 2s, and we're just gonna talk about just the natural sound of the headset. So the H3s have a 50mm driver, whereas the Cloud 2s use 53mm drivers. And the Cloud 2s, if you've ever used them, they just have the most notorious typical gaming audio sound. It's really boomy bass. You know, highs are definitely there. The mids are just kind of whatever. But they definitely accentuate like gun sounds and audio like that very well. Ultimately, they make your games go boom boom. However, the H3s really caught me off guard. Now, the marketing used by ASUS states incredibly deep bass and crystal clear detail. We'll talk about the latter in a second, but first let's talk about the incredibly deep bass. Now, don't get me wrong, they definitely have bass in them, but due to the plastic housings around the drivers, they have more of a sound of an open back headset, which in all honesty, it's incredibly enjoyable. It's a sound that I didn't think I would want or need in a gaming headset, but now it's hard to switch from these because it's actually so damn good, and I really don't think ASUS meant for it to sound this way. Which leads me to crystal clear detail. Now, directional audio like guns, explosions, footsteps, different things like that are incredibly good on this headset. Like, way better than they should be for $40. Now, compared to the Cloud 2s, I definitely think it takes the W here. Overall, spatial audio and directional audio is definitely not present with these like it is with the H3. So if you want just extremely deep, boomy bass, definitely go with the Cloud 2s right there. But if you're wanting something that's a little more mellow and a little more natural sounding, definitely look at the H3. Now, since we're talking about gaming headsets, let's go ahead and do a mic comparison so you can hear how these two sound.
The beans at 8 were quite good. My dog ate the rest when he could. But to my dismay, my nostrils would pay. His farts kill me dead where I stood. The beans at 8 were quite good. My dog ate the rest when he could. But to my dismay, my nostrils would pay. His farts kill me dead where I stood.
Are the H3s the Cloud 2 killer? Now, though the market has expanded tremendously since the days when the Cloud 2s first launched, the recent price drops in the Cloud 2s still make it an incredible contender on the market though, and it's still a great value. But if you are in the market for a new gaming headset, I highly recommend keeping these on your list, keeping these on your radar at least. Like I said, for $40, what you get from these, the build quality, questionable. Other than that though, the audio, which is the most important, and comfort, it's really hard to beat these right now for $40 freaking. And if you're worried about a sound card, if you're really wanting something USB, you can check out this option from Sabrin that's only $10. And then you still come in cheaper than the HyperX Cloud 2s. Now the only two things I would be aware of though with the H3s, one, there is high sound leak that comes with these. And also be cautious throwing these away in your bag because I am not responsible for your broken electronics. Make sure you check out my 2021 review of the HyperX Cloud 2s, and that's it. Get out of here.